And good morning, and let's let the Monday morning ruckus begin right here, right now. I'm Jay Clifton Payne. This is Things You Might Have Heard, and in a moment, I'll present for you the weekend's latest in information, politics, current events, and pop culture. As your go to source in supplemental news, we give you your side piece news, if you will, and we've got a whole lot of side piece in today, as I don't think we have too many things that are really top news, although some of them did kind of sneak in there. Nothing really important. We're not dealing with anything political, not dealing with anything Ukrainish, nothing warlike. Just a lot of things that, to be honest, are kind of silly and petty. Because it's been a long weekend, I'm a little tired, a little cranky, and so the things that popped up in the top 30 this morning were the ones that sort of really piqued my attention because I'm in the mood to be a bit petty and poke some bears. As the TV for graphic shows, we're going to talk a little bit of Kelly Clarkson and her show, but we have, like I said, 9 other stories, 10 stories for the weekend to present to you. We will tell you more about how you get a chance to tell me what to talk about as we go through the vetting process. They're vetted by you and then, of course, curated by me every morning to go forward in just a bit. So check that out. After we get through the stories, we're going to try to speed up a little bit, try to keep on the pithy roll, so we'll see how that works out. But give us about 10 to 12 minutes, and we will tell you how that works out for the better for all of us. In the meantime, as we said, our main website is thisisaconversationproject.com. You can find out more about what we do all over the place there because I will let you go check it out, and I'll talk less, get more news stories in. Let's get to the news. Let's get to the fun stuff. Let's get to things for today. Happens to be Monday, May 15th, 2023. Welcome to this edition of Things You Might Not Have Heard. Let's go in for our first story of the morning, which is this one. And this is the top story for the weekend, posted on Friday, or as it basically happened. ABC 7 anchor Ken Rosato immediately fired over hot mic remark. Now, Ken Rosato, he was a longtime anchor at Evening News this morning, Eyewitness News this morning, I'm sorry, New York's WABC number 7, was fired for allegedly making an off-color remark. Unclear what the remark is. His agent won't talk about it, at least not in this story. Supposedly it was a racial slur, but as of this writing in this story we pulled up, there is no account of what exactly it is. So another hot mic issue, another person saying something not so great on the air and getting caught with it and being immediately taken out with this. No word of any sort of reprisals, no word of any sort of trying to come back, no word of any apologies from this thing. We got this from page 6 pretty early. Other stories may have done deeper dives into the since this was a Friday story, but this is something that was literally the biggest story of the weekend. For all Friday, all weekend long, this one was the tops in your engagement. And this next story came from a bit of confusion. I think I knew why I did it at first, then I got confused. Let's get to the story first. Jimmie Allen White's wife, Addison Timlin, files for divorce. Addison Timlin, an actor just like Jimmie Allen White, he was, of course, starring in The Bear right now, filed a divorce on Thursday. The weird thing is, they spoke fairly highly of each other for the past couple of months, up until a very short time ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, where things stopped being very chatty about them, and the wife has filed divorce for the husband. It's one of those things that, like I said, was extremely petty to kind of pull this story, but it was one of those things that popped up and is interesting, it's trending. I put it in there. Now, let's be honest. After I put it in there, I got confused and thought it was this guy. Jimmie Allen is sued by his former manager for alleged sexual assault, sex trafficking. I thought it was the same. I thought it was basically an update for this one. It is not. Two totally different dudes. Country singer Jimmie Allen, that guy, is being sued by his former manager for alleged sexual battery, read slower please, assault, false imprisonment, sex trafficking, and emotional distress. That's the big one right there. His label, BBR Music Group, swiftly suspended the recording artist. He was supposed to be performing at CMA Fest, and that didn't happen as well. A whole lot of things are going down with this one. The Jane Doe claims that Allen sexually assaulted her at red lights, green room, at red lights, green rooms, on airplanes, and other places where she was required to be present. He also filmed multiple sexual encounters to blackmail her. Now, Allen denies any wrongdoing and says the relationship was consensual. Although it seemed pretty freaky, still consensual. We shall see how this one plays out as time goes on. This story right here is nothing but being petty. Tom Brady praises exes Gisele Bundchen and Bridget Monahan in Mother's Day Instagram posts. Now, I often tout, because I am that guy, the fact that Tom Brady, is lucky to have married someone like Gisele Bundchen, his pregnant model girlfriend, literally seemingly days after he dumped Bridget Moynahan his pregnant model girlfriend. He literally dumped a pregnant model girlfriend to marry another pregnant model girlfriend, being Giselle. That, of course, marriage ended in a divorce about a year or so ago. So we're not going to really pine and kind of pile on that one. But in a Mother's Day Instagram post, Brady thanked the moms in his life. Moynahan, the son, Moynahan, the mother of his oldest son, Giselle Bundchen, the mother of his other children, and his actual mom. So he gave Happy Mother's praises to all the moms in his life, including the ex-girlfriend, ex-wife models that were kind of a thing back in the day. Told you I was feeling pretty petty on the day. Let's move on to the next story. This one's not petty. This one's extremely serious. Grizzlies suspend Ja Morant over latest gun video. Now, months ago, Memphis Grizzlies had to suspend Ja Morant for flashing a gun at a nightclub. You're not supposed to carry weapons on team planes, but essentially he carried one to a nightclub out of town, flashed it in some video, and so that got him suspended. And a lot of people pointing fingers on why the guy's got issues. This video on a friend's Instagram, on a friend's social media post, not sure exactly when it was posted or when the incident happened, but it's out there now. And it's Ja Morant flashing guns in videos. He has been suspended up until an investigation is being done. We shall see how this thing rolls out as well. As promised, Kelly Clarkson pledges to eradicate, quote, any notion of toxicity, unquote, after criticism of show's work culture. The original post we had was the fact that there was a bad work culture, toxic culture at the Kelly Clarkson show. Nothing to do with Kelly Clarkson. Everyone loved Kelly Clarkson, but the people who were speaking out said that various producers and people behind the scenes that ran the show made it really, really hard to be a part of the show. Kelly Clarkson addressed the workplace culture on her Instagram, and Saturday claimed the show's toxic behavior behind the scenes and all the issues that are there will be dealt with immediately. She's going to talk to all the staffers, all executive producers, and all managers, and essentially put an end, squash it going forward. The daytime show will move to Los Angeles, from Los Angeles, New York, for this upcoming season. So Kelly Clarkson getting out of LA, going to New York. Not sure where she's living. She was living in Minnesota or whatnot when she was married to her husband, the hockey player. But now I guess New York is where she tends to stay for the next coming year. Of course, there's planes and there's transportation. There's all that stuff. Janelle Monáe is flashing her breast and, quote, sudden behavior change, unquote, sparks fan debate. We get this from Indy 100, but there's a whole lot of Instagram, a whole lot of Twitter, a whole lot of Facebooking, and a whole lot of articles going over the new, maybe new, the new look for Janelle Monáe. Of course, a fabulous singer known for dressing, more to the nines than any dude would be, out there flashing their boobies and doing things like that because she's got a new album, new singles coming out to promote. New one called Float in February. Second single coming up called Lipstick Lover. Has fans talking about her and her style, especially the video of her coming out of the water wearing a t-shirt and very little else, being extremely provocative, plus some other pictures out there on the internet. If you haven't seen them, I don't know where you've been, what rock you've been hiding under, because they are basically everywhere and penetrating basically any sort of feeds you have going forward, because everybody's talking about them. I'm not saying you should go do that, but if you do, they're not very hard to find. Not hard to find a popular singer in the land of Eurovision, as Loreen of Sweden makes history as first woman to win the Eurovision title twice, winning it again. The Eurovision contest narrowly beating Kaji of Finland. Her win means the contest will take place in the home nation of Eurovision legends ABBA, that is Sweden, for the 50th anniversary of the win. The winner gets a chance to host the tournament. Hosted in England this year because it was an English winner, a UK winner from last year. She won the song contest with their anthemic dance pop song, Tattoo. The Ukrainian entry, Tvorvach, came place in 6th. Now, last year, it was supposed to be in Ukraine, or actually this year is supposed to be in Ukraine, but they got some issues, so there's all sorts of things going on. But congratulations to Loreen. She's from Sweden. She's sang a song called Tattoo. She's won this thing twice. I've never heard of her. You'll probably never hear of her again unless it's some weird pop culture turnaround thing. But this thing, Just trust me, it's big. People love it. It's all over the Europes. You're not here. Also over all over the Europes is Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle, in disguise, if you will, speaks out about the coronation conspiracy theory. So this is a weird one. Remember, Prince Harry went to the coronation while his wife, Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex of sort, stayed home with the babies. But there was a rumor, a innuendo, a conspiracy, if you will, that a man named Sir Carl Jenkins, 79, a Welsh composer whose music was performed at King Charles III's coronation on Saturday, was actually Meghan Markle in disguise. So a guy who looks like this all the time, he says, and of course was appointed a knighthood medal. People should know him because he's kind of famous. People thought he was Meghan Markle in a wig and some makeup. Jenkins previously told the BBC that he was honored to have been part of the coronation, adding that King Charles III was always supported his Welsh music and just sort of weirded out by the fact that people thought he was Meghan Markle. There we go. And in other news of celebrities getting caught up into weirdness, Angela Bassett's lawyers issue cease and desist letter after Antigua names her as tourism ambassador. It's actually not just her, but Antigua and Barbuda both found themselves at some issues as they appointed Angela Bassett and Don Lewis, respectively, tourism ambassadors without going through the proper channels, like asking them, saying, hey, would you like to be our tourism ambassador for these tiny islands so we can get some tourists? We love you. Here's some money. Here's an endorsement. Here's something to a charity. They just said, Angela Bassett is running things for tourism here in Antigua, pretty much. Cease and desist has gone out from Bassett's lawyers. No formal arrangement has been made, of course. We shall see how this comes through. The tourism board should stop using Ms. Bassett's name, image, and biographical information until they reach a mutual agreement. Not that they can't reach an agreement, it's just that they ain't no agreement. And that sounds like a real issue for people doing contracts, because it is. Let's move on to our teaser story for this morning. This is a story that we can talk about tomorrow as we go through the stories all day long here on the Conversation Project. And it's very simple. We told you we talk about the feeds and how you get a chance to respond and get things in. Go to our website and see the links for our feeds. I'm scrolling at the bottom of the page right now if you're watching the video. And they are at Facebook and Twitter. Facebook.com/This is the Conversation Project and Twitter.com/th_conversation. If you go to those sites and you watch as we post these stories every 50 minutes, engage in them. The more engagement the story gets, the more chance we have a chance to talk about it. For Tuesday through Friday, we'll have 8 stories instead of 10 because we'll have, 30 stories from a day as opposed to 90 stories for a weekend. And we'll go through the top 15 stories to give you those 8 stories you vetted as top. For today, we gave you 10 stories from the top 30, a lot more stories, a lot more going on, and a lot more petty stories, if you will. Tomorrow, we can talk about this one because it really does poke a finger at us here at the States. Guns, grenades, and rocket launchers are among 13,500 weapons surrendered in Serbia. As this posts in about an hour or so, you can read this story and go in deeper into the fact that Serbia, with the basic rash in mass shootings they've had there recently, the people of Serbia have turned in their guns. The people have willingly surrendered their guns for this. The random general people. Here, that doesn't work out so well. We can talk about this story tomorrow if you think this is one worthy of talking about. And it's simple. Just engage in it or any other story we have out there in the mix, and we will get it into the lineup. As simple as that. Pardon, quick hydration break. Let's go to the next thing, which is talking about our sponsors. This is the salesy part, and this is the real only salesy part we have here in the middle. And we're talking about Flowers Fast. We spotlighted them on Friday, 2 days before Mother's Day. We're spotlighting them again today, the day after Mother's Day, just in case you forgot. I don't know how you couldn't forget. There are commercials all over the place. There's people reminding you. Your mother probably called and said, hey, where's my Mother's Day gift? If you happen to forget, hang on to Flowers Fast and keep them in your back pocket. Go to our affiliate link, and it's an affiliate link, so we get a little cut from the flowers you buy. This is theconversationproject.com/flowersfast. This is theconversationproject.com/flowersfast. What do? They provide flowers They provide them fast. They are connected to all the FTD Florist networks. And if you call in or go online very early in the day, it's a very good chance you can get same day delivery for your flowers. So otherwise, it does pretty quickly as well. Other gifts as well through the FTD service. So check them out today and help a brother out keeping this thing on the air. This is a conversationproject.com/flowersfast. This is a conversationproject.com/flowersfast. Let's talk about us again. The Conversation Project lives at this is a conversationproject.com. If you like what we're providing here, stop by our website and see what other things we provide. We're doing some tweaks and updates to some of the products we're doing, and this is due to the fact that we've had a chance to think on some things and work on some things after we took the month off because of, being homeless. So there's going to be some newer things, some fresher coat of paint things, and some real new sort of teaser things happening at the Conversation Project for our supplemental stuff. This thing's not going away. We're going to try to make it quicker, faster, pithier, but this thing's not going away, which you're listening to, watching right now, things you might have heard, but we're going to do some updates to some of the other things so that we are more in line with what people are looking for and speedier, because we learned that the big process we had at the studio is not as processable, not a real word, here. So we want to make sure we're giving you plenty of great stuff. And if you think we're giving you good value and want to give more good value, go to our website. This is theconversationproject.com. Click on the partnerships link and see if there's a way that you can join up with us and merge like Voltron to fight off the forces of not having enough funds and not having enough resources to get things done. Still want to hire in those folks full time or for more extended time. I had a chance to bring them in for some small pieces, but we are still relying on a lot of robot editors and things because this thing takes work. It's labor of love, a whole lot of labor in the process. We thank you for what you give to us, and thank you for just watching and listening and sharing this. But if you want to join and engage in more things, stop by the sponsors and buy things from them, or stop by our partnership page. Let me know if we can partner up. And now, the thing that makes us not so pithy, but we've done all the new stuff, is the fun stuff today. And we kick things off with our birthdays for May the 15th. Chazz Palminteri, turning 71 years old on the day. Happy birthday to that guy. Also, Emmitt Smith, Hall of Fame football player, 54 years old on the day. And Jamie Lynn Sigler, 42 years old, of course. I'm sure she's done a couple of other things in the recent years. She is known essentially for being Summer Soprano, being on The Sopranos. That's the biggest thing that she popped up for. 42 years old on the day today. Today in history, happening on the 15th of May, 2015, a pregnant North Carolina mother fought off a rabid fox that tried to attack her and her 6-year-old in the front yard. Ashley Kochev used her son's Alex book bag to fight off the fox as they were attacked while walking to their car. Ashley said they barricaded themselves on top of the truck for about 15 minutes while the fox gnawed on their son's book bag. That's what I picked. I also picked 2 actual news things, which includes James Puckle, a London lawyer, patented the world's first machine gun back in 1718, and 1930, Ellen Church became the first airline stewardess flying on a United Airline flight from San Francisco to Cheyenne, Wyoming. 2 things that are actually newsworthy and trivia-worthy, but we wanted to pop in Ashley Kochev for being the hero that we all enjoy today. I don't remember that story. That story would have been a hoot to talk about if I had been known about that one back then. This is not May the 12th, but it is May the 15th, and it actually is Chocolate Chip Day. Not Chocolate Chip Cookie Day, just the chips. So whatever you want to throw your chocolate chips in, it's good. You want to throw it in granola, you want to grab a handful and eat them just in your hands. You want to put them in cookies and have walnuts. I bought chocolate chip walnut cookies the other day because I couldn't find my favorite butter crunches. Chocolate chip walnuts a pretty good second choice. Chocolate Chip Day is today. Celebrate your love of chocolate in chip form in some way today. Buy a bag of morsels and just, down the bag. Just do that. Just have fun with your chocolate chips on the 15th, not the 12th. Like I said, a little tired, things being kind of petty. So, as we go out the door, one more thing you might not have heard for this morning. To learn the going rate of babysitters these days, your best bet is to ask other parents in your neighborhood. Still, it's good to have a general idea of what people are paying. Urban Sitter has just put out its 12th annual babysitter rate survey, which reveals the average hourly babysitting rates in major cities across the country. Generally, average babysitting rates in the U.S. rose significantly in the past year, 9.7% increase. If you're looking for a sitter, you're likely seeing higher rates this year with $22.68, the hourly wage being the national average for babysitting one kid. And for two kids, $25.37. So this is long past the day of $10 and a pizza when you could get kids babysit, and it's probably the issue of many people trying to get their own folks to sit there for their date nights. $20 an hour is pretty good as a living wage, if you will. Minimum wage is around $15. So if you're doing babysitting and you're getting this average cost, then remember that means some people are making less than 20, but some people are making a whole lot more than 20. So you can't really knock off $22 an hour to watch a kid for a few hours. In fact, that might be our next funding source for the Conversation Project. We may have to start finding some kids and babysitting, and hopefully they like the news because they're just going to have to sit here and work on this stuff. We are having child labor law issues here in Arkansas, so maybe it could be a twofer. We shall see. Today has been Monday, May 15th, 2023, the actual date per that Chiron there. And thank you so much for joining us for this edition of the video or the podcast or the newsletter if you're watching the video from the newsletter link. We are so proud, so happy, so enjoyable that you love watching us, talking to us, sending us info, and just giving us the right to do this stuff with you. My name is Ja Payne, your news side piece since 2022, and glad to be giving you the supplemental news and sometimes more of the real broadcast news. It becomes a thing about just getting things in there. Sometimes this thing was created a couple iterations ago and turned into what it is because I have a thing about news. I am a broadcast journalist veteran. I actually won some awards in radio broadcasting. And some of the news that comes out in the mainstream media for various reasons, not very good. And my reason for not being in news radio anymore is, I wasn't needed. Not very good. Margins, money. And so this is a way for me to still be a part of the show, being a part of the gig, and provide something that I think is a pretty good service. Some interesting news, interesting takes, interesting topics, interesting ways. Let me know if you want to help us out by going to our partnerships link. Let us know what stories we're talking about by going to our feeds, and let me know how we're doing in general by just emailing me at jclevelandpayne@gmail.com for any sort of info. Stay hydrated, stay limber and on task for great, grand, awesome things you will do for this world. You were meant to be here for a while, and trust me, it's been very recent where I was going through the phases where, being all those things because the great things that I'm supposed to be here to do, sometimes this thing sounds so great, seemed like they were in doubt. So when you're dealing with a lot of stress, a lot of issues, sometimes a lot of people who are keeping you down, you need to keep up. Real quick, I want to remind you that there is help. Stop by and take some time to visit with the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. You can call them or text them at 988 or visit them on the web at 988lifeline.org. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, someone can speak with you in English and Spanish. With that, I bid you adieu, a die, a dare. We out. We done. Thank you so much for joining us for the show this morning. Tomorrow, 8 stories from the top 15 that you rank as conversational through your engagement. What stories will make it? Will we talk about guns in Serbia? Only you can make that decision. Thank you so much.